some clarity on how much that you should be having. All right, so how much carbohydrate can you have? Yesterday we talked about sugars, which also fall under the category of carbohydrates, and we distinguished the difference between added sugars and natural sugars. So Periscope are actually keeping the broadcasts now, so it's still available if you want to go back and watch the replay. But today what we're going to be covering is carbohydrate, the natural, when you look at the nutrition label on the back of packaging, it's got their total carbohydrate, and then it's got sugars. We covered the sugar part yesterday. Today we're covering the rest. Okay, so what about the carbohydrate portion of your foods that don't have sugars in them? Because when you look at some labels, you'll see there that there are no sugars, and you'll think, great, thumbs up, high five. All right, but the issue is that carbohydrates are still going to convert to sugar in the blood and can sometimes have an equal or similar effect to as if you were eating added sugars in terms of fat burning. Okay, so let me just paint a little bit of a picture for you, and then once I've painted the picture, then after that I'm going to give you 4 things that you can do and measurements that you can use around the amount of carbohydrate that you should be eating before your body will stop fat burning. Okay, so I've written some notes because it's quite a lot of information, and I just wanted to make sure you got the clearest picture. So the first thing to understand, all right, is that there is only allowed to be a certain level of sugar in your blood. Okay, your body's mission is to keep the amount of sugar in your blood perfect. So let's say, and don't worry about any specific terminology, look, I just want you to understand concepts, keep it nice and simple. Let's say that the amount of sugar in your blood needs to be at the level of 100. Okay, so let's just say 100 is the magic number of sugar that needs to be in your blood. Now, your body will manufacture hormones when you are eating and when you are not eating if any of that changes. Okay, so if the amount of sugar in your blood changes, goes below 100 or goes above 100, your body is going to manufacture hormones in order to get it back to 100. Okay, that is where everything is functioning good. All right, everything functions good when you're at a level of 100. Now, here's the thing. Whenever you are eating anything, when you eat anything, almost anything is going to turn to sugar in the blood. Okay, almost anything you eat is going to turn to sugar in your blood, which is going to make those levels rise either a little bit above 100, or a medium a bit above 100, or a lot above 100. All right, and so your body's going to have to manufacture a hormone in order to bring those blood sugar levels back to 100. All right, and that's gonna be its priority in terms of hormones manufactured. So it's gonna leave enough in the bloodstream to 100, but then anything extra, it's got to remove. Okay, it's got to remove. And so the hormone here is called insulin. All right, this is insulin's job. Insulin's job is to come in and attach itself to each one of those excess sugars, and it's got to take it out of the bloodstream so that your blood sugars can remain stable back at a level of 100. Okay? So where does insulin take the excess sugar? Well, insulin takes it into your cells. All right? That's how we get energy from our food. So insulin's job is to come along, attach itself to any of those excess sugars above the level of 100, and then deposit it into your cells, and that's how we get energy. Now, let's just say, I've got props. Let's just say this is your normal cell. Okay? Now, your normal cell, just like this drink bottle, has a capacity for how much sugar that it can store. All right? And once it's full, it's full. And if you pour too much water in my drink bottle, what's going to happen? You're going to get spillover. Okay? Now, that's the same as with your normal cells. There is only a limited capacity as to how much sugar can be stored into your normal cells. All right? That's just the way that it is. But there is another kind of cell that has an unlimited capacity to store sugar. All right, it's unlimited capacity because the priority is that your blood sugars must remain at a level of 100. So if you are eating in a way that is creating a low amount of, like not going too far above that 100, that's great. That means that there's going to be enough room to contain that sugar. Okay, if you're eating a medium amount of if you are eating in a way that's just medium, so not too far above that 100, that's cool. Chances are is that you won't get spillover. You'll just be sitting at the upper end, right? You'll just be sitting at the upper end of the drink bottle and maybe sometimes 3/4 of the way. But chances are is that you're not going to get that spillover. But if you're eating and creating too much sugar in the blood by the way that you are eating, and so it's creating a lot of insulin because there's a lot of excess sugar in the blood, you've gone too far above that 100, then chances are it's highly likely and probable that you're going to get spillover, okay? And so it's going to overflow and it's got to go somewhere, because remember, the priority is to get the excess sugar out of the blood. That is your body's priority. And so where does it take it? It takes it to the type of cell that has an unlimited capacity to store excess sugar, right? It will just continue to expand and expand and expand and expand and expand to accommodate the excess sugar. And these type of cells, if you haven't already guessed it, are your fat cells, all right? Not my son's sippy cup bottle, but indeed your fat cell. Now, your fat cells, like I just explained, will accommodate for spillover. And the thing about our fat cells is that they also have the ability to shrink, okay? So you can shrink them, and that's just by making sure that those cells aren't continuing to be fed. Now, because the fat cells have an unlimited ability to expand, what you've got to do is the way that you are eating, right? The way that you are eating has got to be a way that keeps those blood sugars as close to 100 as possible, so that when your blood sugars just go above that level of 100, you're not having to create too much insulin, because it's not having to carry too much of those excess sugars into here, which means that you never really get to spillover, okay? And even better still, you could stay at halfway, all right? So you've always got room in the tank. And then these cells, your fat cells, never get fed, all right? And when they don't get fed, then your body will have an opportunity to shrink and start to empty out the sugars in your fat cell, and that's called fat burning. Okay, so giving the body an opportunity to access these ones, but this is your spillover tank, and so this one is the one that must be addressed first. Okay, you've got to address this one first. If you can do that, stop feeding this one, then it'll give you the opportunity, okay? It doesn't just automatically mean that you're going to start fat burning, but what it does mean is that now the conditions are, you will be able to give your body the opportunity to start burning the fat cell, all right? But just remember that your body cannot burn the fat cell if it is continuing to be fed. Okay, so that's the important thing. So I'm going to give you 4 things now that you can do to start managing the amount of sugars in your blood and try and keep them as close to the level of 100 as possible. So here's a good place to start. Okay, it's important to know that with carbohydrates such as grains and especially breads and pasta and the starches like potato and kumara, or sweet potato, it might be called in your country, sweet corn, those types of carbohydrates, they send your blood sugar quite a bit higher above 100, especially in the quantities that can be eaten, than say the types of carbohydrates like fruits and vegetables, which are a lot lower. Okay, so those ones that I just mentioned, grains and starches, breads, pastas, and so forth, what they will do is, if you eat a lot of those, you are more likely to get spillover. Okay, if you eat a lot of those, you are more likely to get spillover. If you eat a medium amount of them, then you are more likely to just be sitting at that halfway to 3/4 full in terms of your cell's capacity. All right, but if you eat a lot of them, and if you don't give your cells an opportunity to empty some of those out, and I'll give you that strategy in a minute, then you're going to be continuing to feed these, okay, your fat cells. Okay, so it's super important. The quantity that you want to be looking at is about half cup portions. Okay, so about a half a cup portion is a good place to start, because what you want to assume is that if you've got body fat to lose, then you want to assume that you are in spillover. Okay, you want to assume that you have been feeding your cells too much and that they have been spilling over, and so therefore your cells are full. Okay, they're full. And so what you want to do is you want to manage those portion sizes so that you allow your body the opportunity to start emptying out the cells with the quantity of sugars that are in there, and stop feeding these fat cells so that they can start to be some room created in your other cells. Okay, so half cup portions is the quantity that you want to be looking at there. That's half a cup cooked. Okay, so if in your meal you have some protein and some vegetables and a little bit of fat, and you have a carbohydrate, and if normally the carbohydrate is the base of your meal or quite a big feature, then what you can do is you can just start to half that portion. All right, and even better still, if you have been much more focused on your meals already, if you are already a lot of the way into your journey, then just stick to a half cup portion and manage it even further still. Now, how many of your meals should have carbohydrate and how many of them should be carbohydrate free? Well, that's going to differ from person to person, because your activity level is one that is going to decide whether those cells are emptying out or whether they're staying full. What some people do with their cells is kind of like if you imagine your gas tank in your car. What some people do is that they drive to the gas station and fill up, and then they park there overnight, and then when they wake up in the morning they fill up, and then they get spillover, and then that's going to go into the fat cell because that's the reservoir tank. Okay, that's the excess tank. So what other people do is that they fill up their tank in the morning, and then all throughout the day they only drive around the block in terms of the distance covered over a total day. They only drive around the block, all right, which might take you down to here, and then by the end of the day they've gone back to the gas station, filled up, and then spill over, and then it's going to empty out into the reservoir tank, into the fat cell. Okay, so a good place to start is that 2 of your main meals have carbohydrate in them in half cup portions, and then the 3rd main meal, keep those bigger carbohydrates, those starchier carbohydrates, the grains, the rices, the potatoes, the sweet potato, and all of that. Keep that carb free. That is a good place to start. 2 main meals have managed portions of carbohydrate. 1 main meal, keep carbohydrate free and just have a protein, some and a little bit of fats, and mostly vegetables that have very low starches in them, like green beans or a salad, or capsicums, roasted veggies, and so forth. Okay, keeping your added sugars to under 16 grams per day if you're female, under 24 grams per day if you are male. All right, so that's under 16 grams of added sugars if you're a female, under 24 grams if you are male. So we're talking about added sugars here. Check up on the replay from yesterday if you need to get a little clearer on what I'm talking about with added sugars. A moderate exercise program, okay? If you have a moderate exercise program, what that means is that your body is going to empty out the amount of sugars in the tank. So if you are exercising for 30 minutes a day, this is where this campaign came from, then what it means is that you will start to create room in your tank, all right? And then when you eat, then there's some room for it to fill up, as opposed to not exercising and then it's spilling over and it going into the fat cell. Okay, so having a moderate exercise program allows you to be efficiently creating room, plus a multitude of other benefits, but we'll save that for another day. Now, most problems can be solved by managing your portion size. Okay, managing your portion sizes of what you eat, because remember that even though today we're specifically talking about carbohydrates, it's important to understand that the one comment that I made at the very, very beginning of the session today was almost anything you eat is going to be turned to sugar by the body. All right, it's just that carbohydrates and especially sugars are the ones that are easily able to get those blood sugars too far above 100. Okay, but know that almost anything you eat is going to turn to sugar by the body. So if you manage those portion sizes, that is a really, really good place to start. Okay, so if we just recap that, keep those portion sizes down to half cup sizes of grains, starches and so forth. Have a moderate exercise program. 2 out of your 3 main meals have carbohydrates in them and managed portions, but have 1 that is carbohydrate free. Keep those added sugars to under 16 grams a day if you're a female, under 24 if you are male, and manage that portion size. All right, so that's the message for today, guys. Look, a lot of diets do use catchy slogans to try and create ease around what it is that you could do to get the best result. Like, for example, the LC, the low carb HF, the LCHF, low carb, high fat diet, or the just eat clean or eat real food, or there can be quite a lot of catchy slogans around different diets and the way it is that you should be the way it is that you should be eating in order to get the best result. But the thing about these diets and these catchy slogans is that there are always elements of truth to them, for sure. But really, there is a certain amount of personal responsibility that you've got to take in order to educate yourself on what is going to be working for you, because everyone's body is different, and when it comes to your hormones, everyone's healthy and unhealthy to a different degree depending on the state of what is going on with your hormone health. Okay, so it is going to be different for everyone, and the best thing you can do is take a little bit of personal responsibility to educate yourself rather than just looking for a quick diet to follow. On the other thing that needs to be addressed is coaching. All right, it does play a huge difference to really have someone in your corner is actually helping you manage your stuff, because it's not always, in fact, always, it's not just about how much you know, but it's about the mindset and helping you get through your stuff so that you are able to grow and become the person that you know that you can be in the process, right? The person who you are right now is not the person who you will be when you have achieved your ideal body. And so really having someone in your corner that's helping you realize these things is going to play a significant difference in you actually being able to pick yourself up when you fall down. And that's really a big deal. So that's the message for today, guys. Look, I do work with clients one-to-one, and I also have been known to do group coaching sessions as well. So what I want to do is just lead you to my website, which is generationhealth.co.nz. At the moment, I am virtually at capacity in terms of my one-on-one clients. I virtually don't have any room to take on any new clients at this stage. I really am just working by referral. If one of my current clients referred me somebody, then I would consider working with that person. But at the moment, I am fully booked, but what I am considering is starting up a group coaching. Okay, so if there were enough people that wanted to be a part of a coaching group that I would take through my nutrition course, which is a 12-week course, it helps you to achieve your ideal body, at the same time me coaching you guys through that. If you are interested, all right, then I want you to register your interest through my website. Okay, I want you to register your interest through my website. Just select the contact us on my homepage. Select the contact us and just say interested in group coaching. And look, if I see that enough people are interested in going through some group coaching, then I will consider putting a group together and working with a group of you at one time, because I could manage that rather than taking on any more one-on-one clients. Okay, so and in saying that, if there was someone with the exception, like for example, I do have a heart, so if someone is really, really struggling, all right, and you're sick, or you have got some serious health challenges, like I would consider taking you on as a one-on-one client. But I just want you to know that, that at the moment I am pretty much at capacity. So do consider yourself for the group coaching and register your interest if you are interested. All right, that's it for today, guys. That's the message. From tomorrow on, I'm actually taking some leave. It's my son's birthday. He's turning 1. We're going to cruise down to Christchurch. So that's it for the Periscopes for this week until next Thursday. All right, until next Thursday. And then I'll probably do Thursday and Friday just to make up for those missed. All right, so that's it for today. Looking forward to seeing you again next week at the end of the week. Peace out. Keep warm.